The dream that changed Sanderville. In the Darrow town of Sanderville, there lived a boy named Vanderville. Vanderville was very concerned because the town just would not learn how to keep the earth so clean and free of pollutants and other atrocities. The town didn't take good care of the planet, so Vanderville would warn them and boy would he lament. Vanderville would say to them every day, "If you don't take heed to what I say, you all will have to pay someday. So pick up your trash and go plant some trees and clean the garage. It's covered with fleas. Please recycle your cans and your newspapers too. We don't want our town to look just like a zoo. And clean up the air so we can all breathe. And don't dump things in the lake if you please." Now Vanderville did this every single day to the people of town which he just threw away. They went about dumping their trash in the streets. They went about polluting the air and the heat. They went about chopping and cutting down trees. They went about building their big factories. They went about throwing their papers away, and they'd give a hoot what Vanderville would say. Who cares about the future? They would all agree, as they chopped down and cut up and slaughtered the trees. Now things went on like this for quite a long time, till one night a strange dream caught them all by surprise. They all dreamed they lived in 2023, and the future they saw was a huge shock to see. The town was a dump. It was covered with filth, with trash cans and garbage that reached to their lips. The trash in the dump fell down everyone's street, and the smell of it all just increased in the heat. The air was so thick and was covered with smog, the people began to get sick as a dog. The town had no trees, had no grass, had no lakes. The town had no flowers or leaves they could rake. The town had no park for the children to play. The town had no place for the animals to stay. Instead, it had factories and buildings so high, they stood so high up that they touched the black sky. The buildings were 2,000, no, 3,000 feet. They belched out pollutants that covered the street. The sky they had loved was no longer bright blue. Instead, it was covered with a thick, smoky hue. The people were shocked. They didn't know what to do. Vanderville had warned, this will happen to you. They cried, they tossed, and they turned in their beds, but the nightmare continued to play in their heads. If only we'd known that Vanderville was so right. We would have recycled our trash every night. We would have not laughed or teased him so much. If only we'd known that the future was such. And just when they thought that the dream wouldn't end, they all were awake at 9:45. They raced out of bed and they rushed out in awe. They questioned each other. Did you see what I saw? And everyone in town had had the same dream. They all were inspired to do the right thing. They rushed about cleaning and picking up trash. They rushed about recycling the items they had. They rushed about planting 100 more trees and watered the grass as they pulled up the weeds. And Vanderville, who had been going to the stew today, came back to the town his usual way. He started to tell them just what else they should do. She looked up and saw that something was new. The town was all neat. The town was all clean. He said to himself, this must be a dream. He stopped and he stared and he could not believe the town he had loved had replanted their trees. And just when Vanderville was about to go faint, he heard a great shout. Look, there's our saint. Vanderville was shocked at what he could see. The whole town was coming as fast as could be. They ran up to Vanderville and gave him a cheer. Yay, let's give a shout to the kid of the year. Yay! And the people thanked him for all he had done to teach them to take care of the earth and the sun. They showed showed him the trees. They showed him the flowers. They showed him the park. It went on for hours. They started to ask him what else they should do and made him the president of the recycling crew. And Vanderville was just as pleased as could be. Finally, you all listened to me. But whenever he asked them, well, what changed your mind? No one would answer. They all would decline. And as much as he begged, as much as he asked, the people just smiled and refused his request. This very day, Vanderville never knew. People never told him. Would you?